Texas Hold'em bonus is another version of poker, where the players play against the house rather than each other. To start the game, a player must place a wager in the designated box marked anti-blind. Players also have the option to place a bonus bet wager, which is linked to a progressive jackpot. Apart from the optional progressive jackpot wager, players may also place a bonus bet wager. This bet is paid depending on the player's 2 cards. Once the wager is placed, the dealer will announce no more bets, then proceed to deal the card face down to each player one at a time until each player has 2 cards. Once all players have 2 cards, they now have the option to bet or fold. This simply means if they don't like their 2 cards, they may fold and take no further part in the game. Or, if they choose to play, they will need to place a wager double their ante in a box marked flop. Once the players' decisions have been made, the dealer will announce no more bets and deal 3 cards face up in the community area called the flop. Players now have the option to check or bet. Checking allows the player a free look at the next card. Players may choose to have a bet if they have cards that has made a poker hand or has the potential to make a poker hand. If you choose to bet, you will need to place a wager equal to your ante in the box marked turn. Once the players have made the decisions, the dealer will announce no more bets and then proceed to turn a card over face up in the community area called the turn. Players again have the option to check or bet. If the player chooses to bet, they must place a wager equal to their ante in the designated betting area called the river. Once the players have made their decision, the dealer will again announce no more bets, then proceed to turn a card face up in the community area called the river. Once there are 5 cards face up in the community area, the dealer will then deal themselves 2 cards face up. The dealer will then highlight the best poker hand using the 7 cards available to them, which are the 5 community cards and 2 of their own. Once the dealer's hand is established, the dealer will then proceed to check the player's hand one at a time. They will highlight the player's best 5 card hand, and if the player's hand rank is higher than the dealer's, they will win. And if the dealer's hand rank is higher, the dealer will take their wagers away. Just one thing to remember, the progressive jackpot will only be paid to a poker hand using the first 3 cards and the player's 2 cards. The dealer will then continue this process until all hands are done. Whilst the game may appear complicated, it is relatively easy to play. If you have any questions, please ask any of our friendly gaming staff and they'll be happy to assist. Good luck! Sikbo is an old Chinese game played with 3 dice. Each betting round is determined by these dice combinations. At the commencement of a game, the dealer will place a cover over the dice tumbler and press a button. This will automatically shake the dice 3 times. After the dice are shaken and before the cover is removed, the players have the opportunity to place their bets over the layout. There are now several different betting options which you may choose to wager on, as we will now demonstrate. Let's start with small. If the total number of the dice is between 4 and 10, you win. These bets pay even money. Now we move on to big. It's exactly the same as small, except the total number is between 11 and 17. Next, we'll move on to specific dice. If one of these dice comes up, you get paid even money. If 2 of these dice come up, you get paid 2 to 1. If 3 of these dice come up, you get paid 12 to 1. Next, we'll move on to 2 die totals. These bets get paid 6 to 1. Now we move on to dice totals. These get paid from 6 to 1 to 62 to 1. Next, we have 2 die. These get paid 11 to 1. Now we move on to any triple. These bets get paid 31 to 1. Finally, we have specific triples. These bets get paid 180 to 1. Once players have made their bets, the dealer will announce no more bets and remove the cover. The dealer will then enter the 3 dice combination into the keypad. This will illuminate the layout showing all the winning bets. If you've guessed correctly and your chip is on one of the illuminated totals, you win. It's that easy. We hope this has made the game of Sikbo easy to understand, and if you require any more help, please ask one of our friendly staff for assistance. Blackjack is one of the most popular table games in casinos around the world and is really quite easy to play. Blackjack is dealt from a shoe and is simply where each player's hand total tries to beat the dealer's hand. You begin by placing a wager in the designated box. Once all wagers have been placed, the dealer will announce no more bets and begin the hand. Each player will have 2 cards dealt to their box in sequence, while the dealer will receive 1 card. This is called the initial deal. The player now has 2 cards from which they need to make a decision to stand, which means to receive no more cards, or hit, which means to receive 1 or more cards. The way a player achieves this is by tapping the table with their finger behind the box to receive a card, or waving a cross behind the box to stand. The individual card totals are shown on their face. For example, a picture card counts as a 10, a 7 as a 7, etc. This would mean a picture card and a 7 would be a total of 17. There is one exception to this rule, however, which is the ace, which can be counted as 1 or 11. This means that an ace match with a 4 would mean the player has a total of 5 or 15. An ace match with a 10 or any picture card is the ultimate hand a player can achieve. It is from this hand that the game gets its name, Blackjack. It is only this hand that is paid at different odds, which are 3 to 2. All other wagers are paid at even money. As mentioned previously, Blackjack is the best hand. Now, let's look at how other hands rank. Any 3 or more cards that total 21 form the next highest hand. For example, a 9 plus a 2 plus a picture card would be one version. An 8 plus a 3 plus a picture would be another. After this total, they work their way down from 20 to 12. 12 is the minimum total a player can stand on. But remember, this total can still win. The dealer must draw on 16 and stand on 17 after all the players have made their decisions. If after this, the dealer busts, all hands are paid. If the dealer draws a total of 17 or over, any player's hands that are less than the dealer's total lose. Any that are equal to the dealer's hand are a standoff, and if the player's total is higher, they win. You may also choose to wager on another player's box or boxes when you are playing. So if you think your friend or the person next to you is lucky, you may try and share their luck on the table. It is important to remember that your wager is bound by the player's decision on how they play their hand. There are a few other options available to the player, which we will now explain. If a player receives in the initial 2 cards the totals of 9, 10 or 11, they may choose to double. This simply means you can either match either your whole or part of your original wager, but you only receive 1 additional card from the dealer. It is important to remember, however, that if an ace is included in these first 2 cards, doubling is not permissible. The other option available is a split. This simply means if you receive any 2 cards with the same point value, you may match your original wager and then split this hand, which basically means you now have 2 hands with which to play. You now play these 2 hands as any normal hand. If you receive another card of the same total, you may choose to split again to form 3 hands. These hands are now played like any other hand, where you may choose to stand, draw, or double on 9, 10 or 11. If you receive 2 aces, however, you are only allowed to split once for a total of 2 hands. If you are dealt a 10 on either of these aces, the hand total is 21 only and not blackjack. If you like the idea of splitting, there is an additional wager which you may choose to play called perfect pairs. As the name indicates, you are hoping to receive 2 cards of equal value on the initial deal. If you achieve a perfect pair, you will receive 30 to 1 on your original wager. It doesn't matter if they're not perfect, as other pairs pay attractive odds which are clearly shown upon the table. These are the basics, and hopefully it's enough to help you understand and get started on the game of blackjack. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask any of our friendly table game staff. Alternatively, head to the Adelaide Casino website where all games are explained on our Learn to Play section. Baccarat is a simple, exciting game with 3 possible outcomes: player, banker or tie. The term player does not refer to the customer, and the term banker does not refer to the house. Think of it as heads or tails, or red or black. Baccarat is an unusual game where any score of 10 counts as 0 or baccarat. An ace counts as 1 only. All other cards have their face value. Therefore, the object of the game is to bet on the hand with the total closest to 9, 9 being the highest possible score. The cards are dealt player, banker, banker. Both cards in each hand are added together and the dealer calls the totals. 2 7s cannot be 14. Instead, we drop the first digit, leaving the total of the cards as 4. If the first 2 cards total 8 or 9, this is declared a natural hand and no more cards will be drawn. A set table or tableau decides whether another card will be pulled to either hand. So in this example, the player has 26, but we drop the first digit, leaving the total of 6. Banker has a total of 9, so banker wins 9-6. All winning hands are paid at even money, except when banker wins on total 6. Bets will be paid 1 to 2 or half. Another form of Baccarat is commission, where we take 5% tax on all winning banker bets. So a $100 bet will be paid $95. When both hands are of equal value, a tie will be declared. Any customer with a wager on tie will be paid 8 to 1, and all other player banker bets stand off. As with Blackjack, Baccarat also offers side wager of perfect pairs. Customers can wager on the initial 2 cards with the banker or player being a perfect pair. These will be paid at 11 to 1 on all pairs. All Baccarat tables have a digital display, where all previous hands are recorded, giving the player the opportunity to look for patterns and rounds of hands. Blue dots represent banker, whilst red dots represent player. Tie bets can be seen in green. If you're interested in learning more, please feel free to ask any dealer and they'll be happy to explain. Alternatively, head to the Adelaide Casino website where all games are explained on our Learn to Play section. Roulette is an easy game to play. It can be as simple or as involved as you like. The game has a wheel and a layout which consists of the numbers 0 through to 36. The dealer will spin a ball into the wheel, and where the ball drops is the winning number for that spin. The layout is divided into 2 sections and offers 2 different betting opportunities. Let's start with what they call the outsides, which simply means wagering on different groups of numbers. The easiest of these bets is simply red or black, of which there are 18 coloured numbers of each. If you bet on red and the number that comes up is red, you win. It's that simple. Using the same principle, you may choose to wager on odd or even, or if the number will be high or low. All these bets pay even money. The next outside bets we will demonstrate pay 2 to 1, as they use less numbers to win. Firstly, let's discuss what are called columns, which are found at the end of the layout. If you place a bet on one of these 3 columns, you are hoping that any number in that column will appear, in which case it's a winner. Next, we have what are called dozens, where there are also 3. If you place a bet in any of these sections and the winning number is in that section, you win. Both columns and dozens have 12 numbers in each section. The only important thing to remember is that if the number 0 comes up, all the outside bets lose on that particular spin. That's basically the outside numbers covered. Now we move on to what are called inside numbers. This is where you may choose to bet on the individual numbers. Of course, this is more difficult to achieve, but the rewards can be greater and this can make the game more exciting. If you choose to wager on any given number and it comes up, the return is 35 to 1. You may of course bet on several numbers on any given spin to increase your chances of winning. We will now explain each bet you can have and what they pay. Firstly, we have what is called a straight up, which covers one number and pays 35 to 1. Secondly, we have a split, which covers 2 numbers, and this pays 17 to 1. Next, we have a street, which covers 3 numbers and pays 11 to 1. After the street is a corner, which covers 4 numbers and pays 8 to 1. Finally, we have a 6 line, which covers 6 numbers and pays 5 to 1. So there you go. Now you have a basic understanding of roulette. For further information, please ask any of our friendly table game staff who will be glad to assist you.